again, to be fair, was it advertised? Is there a job description? What goes with it? So that person, whoever is in that, is successful, and they know what they're doing, and they can do it to the best of their ability. So that's one. Now the other is, I have the President's report from August of 2025, and this was when this crisis, the whole thing seemed to explode. And one of the highlights was a letter to BIA Andrea Wong requesting Diane Spotted-Tail come from RST and is one of the 638 accountants at Rosebud to provide one-on-one training with OST accountants. And this was to happen the second Tuesday of the month, and that there was a meeting invite set for September 9th at 10 a.m. and the meeting place would be at the BIA conference room with the Zoom option available. So my question is, did that meeting happen? If it did, and that was to be ongoing, was there another meeting on October 14th? Did that happen? Is training or whatever she provides being done? What's happening with that? I know with this shutdown it makes everything really difficult, but there are some things I think that are critical to continue. So those are the things I wanted to bring up.
Councilwoman Spotted-Tail.
Thank you. And thank you, Ms. Holyrock, for bringing your concerns to the council. In Finance Committee, regarding the comptroller position, it has not been advertised. It is on for discussion as far as the job description and updating our organizational chart. That is going to be in our working session scheduled for November 7th, 8th, and 9th at our Prairie Winds Casino. And we also in Finance Committee discussed putting an RFP out for a CPA and that's on discussion as well, in possibly splitting those positions, having a comptroller financial assets in that area.
I just turned it on.
As far as
I just turned it on.
The training
Yeah.
that was requested of her, she's been requested to be here several times, but she, for whatever reason, hasn't been able to make it and provide the training.
Even with Zoom?
Via Zoom. Given the current circumstances that have been going on with the government shutdown, with everything that has been happening, we're unable to obtain her right now to provide the training.
So she works with BIA, not the tribe.
She works with Rosebud. So she works with a different tribe.
Okay.
So if she's not working with the BIA, the shutdown shouldn't affect her.
Yep.
She's an employee of Rosebud.
Yep.
So she's not at the will of us. We have to work with another tribe to get her to provide the training for our tribe.
Let me see if I understand this. You're not working with Rosebud any longer, you're working with some other tribe?
The last discussion was that BIA was working with Miss Diane and that they would work with her to provide the training for our tribe. So she is not a federal employee, however, she does work with the Rosebud tribe.
But that shouldn't have affected the September and October meeting, should it?
It should not have, however, we were unable to get her here, but that's not, I mean, we can't speak for her and what her schedule is.
It just seems critical for that training, given what's going on. Is there another tribe that could be approached, or is the intent to wait until the shutdown is lifted and continue to work with Rosebud?
I can assure you we are making attempts, so those attempts are being made.
Treasurer.
Thank you for your questions. I think they're very good, and that's information that should be provided to the public. BIA under 638 law is responsible to provide technical assistance. They recommended Ms. Goddard Tail, and but they're supposed to provide the technical assistance, so they should be providing the funding to get her here. But they didn't provide the funding. She came from Rosebud under their tribe, because she works for their tribe, not the BIA. So they were supposed to have contracted her to come help with training for our tribe. But that didn't happen. That was the BIA's responsibility under technical assistance, which we requested as a tribe to provide, but they haven't. And so that has to go through the BIA. And then she has to get approval from her employer to come. So until BIA provides the funding to bring her, we can't get her.
And again, it goes back to my question, why not go through Zoom, where she's not traveling, she's not incurring...
It's not a matter of traveling, it's a matter of time. Because she works for their tribe, so they have to justify her time working. And to pull her off of her time with the tribe, she needs to be compensated. So BIA would have to compensate her. And right now that's impossible.
If I could throw 2 cents in there, you done, Treasurer? Okay. So we did reach out to the Rosebud Sioux tribe to see if we can borrow her services or see if they could lend us her skills and come to the Oglala Sioux tribe for training. Those talks are still in the works, so we haven't received an answer yet. I just had a meeting with the Rosebud Sioux tribe. Was it Monday? Monday, yeah. They are aware of it, but they have to do that on that side. I think there was a misunderstanding that when BIA did that training, she as an employee of Rosebud was providing that training. And then, so when we requested TA, she was able to go from the Rosebud Sioux tribe to that TA and provide that. Now that we requested it, she has to get permission from her tribe to come provide it to us. So that's where that's sitting at now.
Okay, before the shutdown, BIA found funds to hire another accounting firm or CPA
Yes.
group. That was done. Is there any possibility of tapping them as soon as the shutdown is over for
It's put out. I'm sorry, go ahead.
monies to get her services here?
Go ahead, Treasurer.
That was actually a discussion that I had with Tony. We were trying to get Ms. Spotted Tail here. We were trying to request BIA to utilize that auditing firm money to bring the training in, but then the shutdown happened. That was the end of that discussion.
All right, well, Thank you, and I hope that this information continues to be aired or continues to be made public to the rest of membership, not just within this body. 'Cause
Yes,
then
yes,
all
also,
we have to operate on is rumors when that doesn't happen.
yes, also, we've been reaching out to the BIA for technical assistance to help. So the BIA and the tribe come together and start working together to see where we're going wrong. And it's really tough when we both speak different languages. So that's why we requested TA assistance, so we can both be on the same sheet of music. And we have been pushing that since last administration. So we've been providing TA assistance with our financial side of it. And when it's working out great, but sometimes it's getting those employees to the table to sit down during the training. So we're still working on that in the future. With this next TA assistance, we're going to require all hands on deck. So, Council.
I just want to thank Ms. Holy Rock for coming today, driving all the way out here. She is from our district, Wakbamni, and I'm really thankful that she came to ask these questions, because I think they are very important, to our people out there, because they listen to us all the time through Keeley Radio. But I just wanted to let her know that we have a public relations person, Mr. Jack over there. Could you wave? Mr. Jack over there, he's our public relations for the tribe. So he's currently got us on Zoom. He's got us live on air. So he is making sure everybody's listening to the council meeting today out in the public. So I just wanted to let you know that he is our public relations for the Oglala Sioux tribe. The president has his own, which is his public relations back here, Valerie, but she does a lot of his work and puts it out on his Facebook posts, but he does the tribes overall. So he's trying to get to every one of our committees and to the council meetings and making sure he gets everything out there. So we just wanted to let you know that and let the people know that as they are probably listening today. So, but just want to thank you for coming today, and I know you have some more questions probably for us. Thank you, Bonnie.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Okay, at this time we're going to move on with our next agenda item, the treasurer's report.
Thank you and good afternoon. I had the packets passed out yesterday. So the first thing in the packet is the general fund budget summary. That's the general summary that I give to you guys every month to show you where general fund is. I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to explain what's in the packet first. The next thing in the packet is the Department of Revenue. The summary of receipts that is attached, and then we have the summary detail for the cannabis, for the marijuana income, that is attached. And I also have a breakdown of the reports that are, or the outstanding payments that are owed, but I can give that to you in email because it has specific lists of names on there. The next thing in the report, this is the ARPA balance in the First National Bank. It's separate, so it is pledged. It's kept apart from the regular cash. And that's what's left for the buildings and the gravel. The next is the running balance for the Native American Bank. The next is our Edward Jones, and there is one more signature required for the transfers from Rapid City to Corning. So as soon as that goes through, there should be an additional 248 or 68,000 into this account. The next is a listing of the First National Bank balances as of Monday. The total balance is in the account as of Monday is $135.9 million in the bank. Most of that is for federal BIA and health programs and transportation programs, the federal highways program. The smaller amounts are for the smaller programs. As you can see, there are several that are negative. One being general fund. Normally at this time we receive our land lease income, but with the shutdown we cannot draw our land lease income until BIA reopens. The businesses are negative because it was payroll. That Lowell one, that's their reimbursement account. So they get their funding from the, what is it, Title 4E? Yep, from the state Title 4E programs. The OST transportation, that one is actually the transit program, and the accountant and the director have been working on a reconciliation for a while. There are several funding sources in there because they get several small grants that have not been reconciled. Payroll is positive now, it was negative here. Oyate General, negative. Prairie Wind Casino. We really do need to have a discussion on Prairie Wind Casino. So we'll come back to that. The Title 19 reimbursements are the Medicaid and Medicare appointments that our tribal members go to that have Medicaid and Medicare. When they submit the form back, then we submit to the state to get that reimbursed. But the reimbursements from the state have been coming very, very slowly. So the claims that we submitted 6 months ago, only about 10% of them have been paid back. So we're negative there. Yeah, really slow. So we'll go back to, unless you have questions on the other balances, we'll go back to the first report. On the 7th, 8th, and 9th, we will be doing budget mods. My only concern about the general fund right now is that our revenue is pretty low because we cannot do our land lease income. Once our income comes in, I realized that they did send out lease checks, so they could have sent us a balance, but we didn't get a balance yet. So, and it has been requested, but there's nobody in the office to accept that. So once we get the balance, we can replenish general fund. We are having a meeting on the 7th, 8th, and 9th to do a budget mod. There are several programs under general fund who have not spent any of their money that we may need to modify into the general operating for like honorarium because they're way over. And the resource office is pretty much depleted. I know that there have been several contracts and other expenditures that have been approved in the recent weeks that we cannot get to at this point until our budget is replenished. Because we do not have the money to expend on extra items. So the normal expenditures are fine, but to create new contracts, new positions right now is not a good idea. I know I can tell you that 100 times and you still make the decisions you make, but I'm telling you right now is not a good time to be adding expenditures to the budget. Are there any questions on the general fund budget summary?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Councilman Jubilee.
No, it's not, well, I guess it's, so I wasn't at finance that day when there was a motion to, for the diabetes program. And I seen the email, I think we all got the email from Property and Supply, that they didn't have money to turn on electricity or the phones and stuff. Was that supposed to be, that contract supposed to be paid out of general fund?
Yes, it was, that was the motion to pay it out of general fund. We did pay the utilities to get them back on from general fund. But I asked John to contact the funding agency to see if those expenditures would be reimbursed. So as soon as he lets me know if they are, then we can carry on. Otherwise, we're just gonna have to wait.
Shit.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
Yeah, I think that the 7th, 8th, and 9th, when you meet, would be a really good time to look at some of these things that the treasurer's talking about, because it's not only diabetes, you know, there's a lot of other things out there that, you know, we may have to look at and maybe have to, you know, cut or whatever we are going to do. There's a lot of things coming to us right now by programs about doing their evaluations and incentives that are coming up. And so we have to look at that too. And so I think there's a lot of things that we need to look at. Just looking at the marijuana one, Treasurer, I think you said you will send us a list of checks because, yeah, the one, it just shows the check numbers and the amounts, but I think we've been requesting to see the checks itself. So could you send that to us? Okay, so we can look at that.
That was actually a request from finance to
Yeah.
bring it back to the next meeting.
Yeah.
So I have a whole report from beginning to now.
Okay, that'll be good. The other thing is, just looking at some of these, I was thinking, you know, we're really running into the shutdown, so I'm looking at some of the accounts are kind of low, and some are not in the minus, they're just low. So how are we paying them to continue on? You know, like, I was just looking at one of them, there's two of them, and I think one of them, the utilities account. You know, OST Utilities only has that certain amount of money in there, but yeah, 4,153.87. But if you look to the last page, there's another one, utilities allocation, 58,980.73. Is that part of the WAPA credits, or how is that being funded to keep that office going and salaries paid?
That, the utilities, the first one, what is it, OST Utilities, that was actually a set aside that's been the same for a while. The utilities allocation is the program that's running right now.
Account as of the 27th.
Right, they're a revenue-based program, so they can only operate when they're getting revenue. And they're the ones who send out the bills for WAPA and any other taxes
Okay,
on utilities
okay,
specifically.
okay. All right, I just had to ask that one. And, you know, I know that we have some of the accounts that are in the minus, but just want to say that if you look at the BIA programs, out of every one of them, that one is the one bringing in the most. It seems like it's got the most revenue or amounts in the bank. right now.
Right.
Those are all those 638 probably programs, right?
Yeah, the BIA 638 programs, that's their account. They come in, whenever we do the draws, they come into the ICS that has like 1 cent that we have to keep in there.
Yeah.
They come into the ICS, and then after they're identified, they're distributed to each holding account for whichever program it is. Because you can see there's several Fed programs and BIA programs, and then there's separate transportation and health.
Yeah.
So after they come into our draw account, which is the ICS,
Yeah.
then they go into the programs they're supposed to go into.
Okay, and I've always been asking that every meeting is the casino account. So
Right.
it'll be good to hear from you on that one.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Councilman or Councilwoman Spazberg?
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon. I have a few questions. The first one being, why on the Edward Jones account, and maybe you stated it, but why are we still seeing the old statement for Edward Jones account? Old? Yes. We seen the statement last month.
This is the most recent one.
Well, I have the August 30th,
30th to September 26th.
because this is the same one I questioned last month.
Because it doesn't come in until the 30th of the month.
So August 30th through September 26th
Right.
is the most recent, and, because remember I asked last month, can we get an update why Mr. Mason Bickrow was still listed on the relationships group? He said, oh, I gave you an old one, I'll print you out an updated one, because it still is listed on here,
Where?
at the back of the page here. Yep.
Okay, those were recently changed to, Frank Starr comes out, myself, and Tony Montalvo. That was like, when did Steve send that request? Like 2 weeks ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Thing like that.
So they were recently changed, and so I'm sure it will be on the September 27th to October 26th report.
Okay. Well, I just remember asking that same question last month,
Yeah.
like specifically almost. And then, as far as the Native American Bank, when is the next draw for the marijuana fund?
It will be in December.
December?
Yeah.
And then, I know you can't tell the balance of what's in the vault.
Yeah, I have no access to the vault.
Okay. So I guess we'll have that discussion at the working session. And then, why isn't the Rama account listed on the First National Bank account balances?
Because public safety, if you look at it, it says public safety Rama. That's what's used to pay for the lawsuit. And that's where that money is kept, because it's originally from the Rama settlement. So that's why it's listed there.
Public safety Rama.
Public Safety, Department of Public Safety Rama settlement account.
Okay, so just further.
And that's the only account that should have Rama, and because that's the only money left from the Rama.
Okay.
And that's what's used for their lawsuit.
Okay, and I only asked that because I know they came in to Law and Order.
Requesting equipment.
Yep, requesting equipment and asking for assistance a couple of times. And if they have funding for that or need assistance, that's where they would be able to, I believe they can pull from, correct?
I would not recommend that, because with the lawsuit being filed again, all the filings will have to be done again. And the previous took about $1 million, and with only 1.6 left, it's going to be cutting it close. Okay, so I would not recommend any spending from there until that lawsuit is either completed or whatever happens with it.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Kelly.
Yeah, thank you. Apparently, we're just kind of jumping around all over. I thought we was going to follow Horace format, but I do have a couple of questions. You know, like on the Lakota Prairie Ranch, we're in the minus there. How are we still going to operate if both of our businesses are still, they're both in a negative? Oyate General Store?
Oyate General, and they're both pretty old buildings. And whenever they have their revenue and they make enough to do a repair, they do. And then they might be in the negative for a couple weeks until they make their deposit, and then they come back out of it to continue operating. But those buildings, Oyate General still needs a new HVAC system. And they still need a better, what is it called? IT system. They have a POS and their computer are both on different systems. They're not together. So they need to bring them together, but they have to work on saving for that, because the most recent repair that they had to do was for air conditioning. And then Lakota Prairie Ranch, they did have to get a new equipment for there, and they did do a lot of repairs. Most of that was done with the grant that we wrote last year. Some of it has not, and it seems like every time they do catch up, then something else happens to the building. They had previously ordered equipment, and I did bring that to Jim. So they had to get different equipment for the rooms to make sure that they're habitable and they can rent them.
You know, that really don't tell me anything. That's why I keep asking for the general ledgers. You know, these are just the dailies, basically, from the bank, and just sitting here accumulating everything that has a negative balance in front of it. We're at 1.1 million roughly in debt. But I got to ask a different question. What the heck is the Small State Business Credit Initiative Program? That one's sitting at a positive 3 million.
Right, that's our program that Courtney is supposed to be setting up. She did get the TA for that. It was supposed to be set up to create participation loans for people. They could go to their lender, we could help them with half of it, up to half of it, and but that hasn't happened. So that money's been here since March of 2024, something like that. And it's been sitting there and we have not had access to it. Then recently we got a notice that it may be pulled back, that the dates might have changed. So right now TTAC and other tribal groups are working on trying to ensure that the dates are not changed, because they're trying to change the dates to complete the program by November. And we're hoping not. And Steve is telling me to shut up, so I will. Because we need to be able to utilize that program, because that's a big opportunity for our small business owners. And if we can't utilize it, that was a lot of work wasted.
Where are our settlement monies in this report? Because I do know we have some settlement monies that are floating around out there other than the opioid and a few others, but
There's an account here called the settlement account.
is that where, and I keep getting asked by transportation and transit, the Volkswagen money.
Okay.
They destroyed a lot of vehicles on that.
Can I
Hoping
ask
they
for
would get something
executive
out of it.
session?
I prefer the people here. But Mr. Gunn was part of it. And like I said, you know, every other tribe that I've talked to, Cheyenne River bought all 5 brand new semis with their settlement money. Whereas, you know, our transportation and transit program are getting left out, and they're both vital. So, you know, I think the people have a right to hear where that money went.
Okay, well, you wanna do that? I'll defer to Steve.
Chair, motion to go in executive.
I don't understand what we got to hide. These are the finances of the tribe. I'm just asking, you know, people are asking me the questions, and I'm just relaying the questions to you, Treasurer, you know. I don't mean to put you on the
And I
spot,
answered
but
those same questions from those same people exactly as the attorney allowed me to answer.
are we in litigation with the monies?
Chair, there's a motion on the floor.
Yes, I hear you. Okay, so I think when we come out of executive, we need to give a general explanation to the people. That's my recommendation. So at this time, we have a motion on the floor and a second. Secretary, call for the vote.
Jeremy Rosales,
Yeah.
Beef Randall,
Yeah.
Tyler Lunderman,
Yes.
Sonia Little Hot Weston, Wayne Little Thunder,
He votes yes.
Troy Little, David Queer, Craig Dillon,
Yes.
David Kelly,
No.
Julianne Spotted Bear, no. Norman Standing Soldier,
My voters say no.
Ryan Jumping Eagle Senior,
Yes.
Bo Little White Man,
Yes.
Jackie Sears, Here, James Cross,
Yes.
Nine yes, 5 no. Motion carried. We'll go into executive at 1:48.